Welcome. In this explainer, we're going to break down 3 crucial federal laws that protect students with disabilities. It's so important for students, parents, and educators to understand what they do and who they cover, so let's just dive right in. Okay, get this. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around today, but before these laws were on the books, Congress found out that over 1 million kids with disabilities were just completely shut out of public schools. The laws we're about to talk about were created to fix that, once and for all.
So here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the 3 big laws. Then we'll dig into who exactly is protected. After that, we'll see what rights students have in K through 12, and, this is a big one, how everything changes when they go to college. And we'll wrap it all up with the key takeaways.
All right, so the 3 laws we're focusing on are the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, we'll call that IDEA, Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act, and the Americans with Disabilities Act, or the ADA. You know, they often work together, but they actually come from very different places and have pretty different goals.
This is probably the most important thing to get right off the bat, how they're designed. Think of IDEA as a law that provides things. It sends federal money to states to make sure students get customized educational services. Section 504 and the ADA, they're civil rights laws. Their job isn't to fund anything, but to stop discrimination and guarantee equal access to, well, pretty much everything.
So, who do these laws actually cover? This is where we see a really big difference, because they don't all define disability the same way. And as you can imagine, that has huge implications for students. And the answer to that is, well, it totally depends on which law you're looking at. A student might qualify for help under one law, but believe it or not under another. It all comes down to the specific criteria.
Okay, so here's the key difference. IDEA is kind of like a funnel. It's very specific. A student has to have a disability from one of 13 listed categories, and it has to be negatively affecting how they do in school. Section 504 and the ADA, on the other hand, are like a wide net. They cover any impairment that substantially limits a major life activity, things like walking, thinking, or concentrating, even if it's not hurting their grades at all.
And this really hammers home that civil rights focus. Section 504 and the ADA go even further. They also protect a student who has a history of a disability, say a cancer that's in remission, or even if someone just thinks they have a disability when they don't. It's a powerful way to fight back against stereotypes.
Okay, so we know the laws and who they cover. Now let's talk about what this all looks like in the real world for students in public school, from the first day of preschool right up to their high school graduation.
Under IDEA and Section 504, the responsibility is on the school. They have a duty called child find, which means they have to be actively looking for and identifying students who might need help. From there, the school does an evaluation, and then, if the student is eligible, creates a formal plan to get them support.
At the absolute core of IDEA is this one acronym, FAPE. It stands for Free Appropriate Public Education, and that's the central promise of the whole law, that every single eligible kid gets an education tailored to their needs, and it won't cost their family a dime.
So how does the school actually deliver on that FAPE promise? It's all laid out in a really important document called an IEP, an Individualized Education Program. And this isn't just a list of suggestions. It's a legally binding contract that outlines a student's goals and exactly what services the school has to provide.
Another huge right is the Least Restrictive Environment, or LRE. It's a bit of a mouthful, but the idea is simple and powerful. Students with disabilities have to be educated in the regular classroom with their peers as much as possible. It's designed to prevent kids from being segregated unnecessarily.
But what happens after graduation day? You know, when the cap is thrown in the air. This is where the whole legal landscape just flips on its head. The support system that was there all through K-12, it doesn't just automatically follow a student to college.
And this is the fundamental shift you have to remember. IDEA, with its guarantee of FAPE and the whole school-driven IEP process, it ends. It stops cold at high school graduation. Once a student is in college, their protections come only from Section 504 and the ADA.
Look at this comparison. It's a complete reversal of responsibility. In K-12, the school has a legal duty to find and help students. But in college, the responsibility shifts entirely to the student. You have to disclose your disability, you have to request the accommodations, and you have to provide the paperwork. The college has zero child find duty. Okay, I know that was a lot to take in, so let's boil it all down and put everything together with a final side-by-side look at these 3 landmark laws.
When you see it all laid out like this, the differences are super clear. IDEA is an education law that funds services in K-12 public schools through an IEP. Section 504 and the ADA are much broader civil rights laws that ban discrimination and ensure access everywhere, from K-12 through college. If you remember one thing, remember this. IDEA is about services, and Section 504 and the ADA are about access.
At the end of the day, these laws aren't just legal documents, they are tools. They are tools designed to open doors that for a very long time were completely closed. Understanding this framework, what the rights are and where the responsibilities lie, that is the most powerful first step toward becoming an effective advocate and making sure every student gets their chance to succeed.